Hello and welcome to this Lakecity Life special interview. Agree or disagree with him, but for over 3 decades, Mr. Rajdeep Sardesai has been a vital and prominent journalist of our country. Today, many believe that our country is going through a transitional phase and there is a debate about how the future of journalism will look like. So to discuss all these issues, we have with us the man himself, Mr. Rajdeep, sir. So, sir, it's an honor to have you at Jagran Lakecity University.
My great pleasure and honor to be here at Jagran. Thank you so much.
Sir, my first question to you is about the neutrality factor. Many of us, it is expected out of a journalist that when we enter this field, we should stay neutral. But don't you think it also create a moral equivalence between a perpetrator and a victim when there is none? So I would like to know from you, is it required for a journalist to always stay neutral, or the truth factor is the above, truth factors comes above everything?
Sanchit, your first question is like a googly. आपने मुझे एक ऐसा सवाल पूछा. You asked me a question which frankly is something which I have always been troubled by. Should a journalist be neutral or objective? I think there's a difference between neutrality and objectivity. A journalist cannot be neutral in a situation where the victim is clearly identified. Let's assume tragically a woman has been gang raped. What's the neutrality in it? There is no neutral. You have to be objective in the manner in which you put the news across. You cannot be neutral in a number of situations. And there will be many situations where the victim is very clearly identified and you know who's the perpetrator, and your job is to expose that perpetrator to the world at large. What has happened, and I am as guilty as anyone of that, ki we have separated facts from opinion. There was a time when our job was to report the facts. Opinion was to be done on the opinion page of a newspaper. Or on television, you had opinion programs and you had news programs. Now those lines have got blurred. While giving the news, I also end up giving my opinion. And that is where I think the problem starts about, are you being objective or not? Neutrality, I don't think it's possible to be fully neutral. There will be your personal views which will come across from time to time, but you have to make the effort to be objective. So I think we have to be objective, tell the facts as we see it, don't tell half-truths, tell the whole story wherever possible, but at the same time, recognize that you are also human and you will be influenced by what you see around you.
Okay, sir. Sir, my second question to you is about, as you also spoke in your speech, that many American organizations like New York Times, they follow the crowdfunding or the subscription-based model. In India, we have not seen many organizations coming up with this model. There are few examples, but they are exceptions. Do you think is India now ready to enter in the crowdfunding form of journalism or in the subscription form of journalism? Because the advertising-based journalism, we are seeing the repercussions of this in current times.
Another very good question, Sanchit. And I think that question is fundamental to the future of journalism. Because unless you can create a subscription-based model, unless you can create a philanthropy-based model, कि कोई कहे कि नहीं, मुझे corporate social responsibility के ज़रिए I want to promote good media, quality media. If you can do that, if you can set up a trust, I think that is a much better way than a pure commercial model. But it is very difficult in a country like India because people are not willing to pay for news. You want everything free. The moment I put a subscription tag on even a digital channel, people say, "Yaar, ye paywall hai, main nahi karunga." So unless you can change mindsets, and that can only come, I think, when you are focused on quality and not on just providing, bare information, because bare information is available everywhere. But yes, I think the future will be, at some stage or the other, a subscription-driven model, possibly, as you said, a crowdfunding-driven model, even in a country like India. We have so many crorpatis now in this country. If they decide कि चलो थोड़ा पैसा मीडिया में भी लगाते हैं, why not?
Okay, sir. So my last question to you is, what would you suggest and what are your tips for the upcoming journalists, for the budding journalists, as we all are studying journalism here? So what are your tips for us?
Sanchit, first of all, I am very impressed with you because you straight away ask the hard, tough questions. So one of the things is that journalists must always be willing to ask the tough questions. Never get intimidated by people around you. Number two, I think, is, be someone who's passionate about whatever you do, whether it's advertising, journalism, PR, just be passionate because that passion will reflect in your work. And number 3 is that just be a good human being. You know, be a decent citizen. I believe journalism must come out of your notion of citizenship. If you're someone who's committed to the idea of citizenship, of constitutional values, all of that will also creep into the kind of journalism you do. So those are some tips. At the end of the day, you know, journalism is a great profession to go because no 2 days are ever the same, especially in a country like India. Particularly if you're a reporter, you never know what tomorrow brings in this country. So enjoy the Indian experience.
Thank you so much, sir, for talking to us. I think with these wise words of Mr. Rajdeep Sardesai, we do now have a vivid picture of how the future of Indian journalism should look like and what are some do's and don'ts for budding journalists. Thanks for watching us. I would also like to say you that please subscribe to our channel Lake City Live and keep watching Lake City Live and keep listening to our digital radio Lake City Voice with camera person Sanchit, Sanchit Shrivastava.